Howdy friends, Steve DePoe here for the Rose Realty team. First of all, before we get started, how are things? Everything okay? You and your family are safe? That's the most important thing here. That you and your family are safe and healthy. If you need anything, please give us a jingle. We'll do the best we can to make sure you get what you need. We're here to help. That's what we want. That's what we want you to know. So we're going to start this segment off here. This is going to be a weekly event for the next maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks about the real estate market, how it's being affected by the COVID-19 shutdown. I got a lot of facts and figures I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go over them a little kind of quickly. And little Stevie over here is going to point them out to us. It's going to show us what's going on. So let me get started. First with Collin County. So real estate in Collin County. Solds, we had 174 last week, which were down about 34% compared to a month ago. Listings were at 358, 359, which is flat. Now our weeks of inventory was up about 0.8 weeks of inventory last week. So, you know, inventory's kind of piling up a little bit in Collin County. Dallas County. Now, Dallas County was one of the first with Tarrant County to go through this quarantine or mandatory shutdown, right? And so solds were at the 236, which was down about 48% compared to a month ago. And listings were at 663, which were up about 36% compared to a month ago. Weeks of inventory, again, weeks of inventory was up about 1.5 weeks of inventory. Denton County. So Denton County kind of came after Tarrant and Dallas County in terms of the shutdown. In terms of the quarantine. Solds were at 172 for last week, which was down about 34% compared to a month ago. And listings were at 390, which was up around 37%. Inventory was up about 1.3 weeks. And then finally, Tarrant County. Tarrant County, our solds were at 296, which was down about 44%. And listings were at 700, which was up about 44% compared to about a month ago. And weeks of inventory were up about 1.2 weeks of inventory. So what does all this mean? Well, remember, Dallas and Tarrant County were two of the counties in the state of Texas that decided to go through the lockdown or the quarantine first. Okay, at least in our particular area. And so that's reflected on the fact that inventory is piling up a little bit and that sales are down a little bit. It's definitely shifting into what we call a buyer's market. Okay, now, because there's a shortage of housing in the Metroplex, remember, over the last 20 years, we've had about 250,000 to 500,000 people per year coming to the North Texas Metroplex area. About 250,000 to 500,000 people per year over the last 20 years. So we're at a shortage of housing, and so it's always going to be, even though we're calling it shifting into a bit of a buyer's market, there's always a hint, there's always a tasting of a seller's market there as well. Actually, the future for real estate in North Texas looks bright for a number of reasons. What I just mentioned about that shortage of inventory, the Fed rate is around 0%, which means what? Which is what the Fed loans money out to banks. Now, this isn't a one-to-one correlation with mortgage rates, but it has a big effect. So we're predicting two things: that by around the beginning of the summer, that interest rates for a 30-year fixed rate will be into twos, like 2.8, 2.9. That's a prediction. Also, that by the beginning of the summer is when this flood of pent-up demand is going to happen, and that the buyers are going to start buying around the beginning of the summer. And then naturally, they want to be into the houses, for the school year, and so they're going to want to purchase at the end of the spring, beginning of the summer. At the same time, banks are doing absolutely everything they can to help current mortgagees and future mortgagees. One of the things that the Fannie and Freddie Mac did about 2 weeks ago was they increased the minimum value of a credit score for a conventional loan. What that did was that kind of bumped out a number of people, significant amount of people, especially around the first-time homebuyer area, that they could not then get a conventional loan and low interest rates for their home, and so that kind of threw them out of the market temporarily, right? So that combined with the other pent-up demand and the people who were concerned about looking at houses during this quarantine time, we're predicting that by the beginning of the summer, there's going to be this big rubber band effect that is going to just explode, if you will, and that by the beginning of the summer, the interest rates combined with this pent-up demand, we're going to be in for a real busy end of spring, beginning of summer. So that again, this is Steve DePoe for the Rose Realty team. If you need anything, please drop us a line. I'm going to bounce.